Hello, I am AxelMC131 and welcome back to Behind the Blocks in Minecraft 1.9. Yes, I am in 1.9. It has been a long time since I did a Behind the Blocks video for a multitude of reasons, but now that 1.9 has come out, it was basically because I was waiting for 1.9, and 1.9 has come out about a month ago? Yeah, about a month ago, the week I started university. That sucked. So, it's been a while, but I have been playing a lot, and I've been mucking around with systems, coming up with concepts, but for the moment I'm going to just give you guys a simple video today, and that is talking about some of the new features in 1.9. Not the new generic features, just the command block features, and that is because 1.9 implements a lot of changes to the way command blocks work, as well as some new commands, but I won't go into those. I'm just going into how they work, because they're actually... Initially I was very dubious about the function of these, but now I'm quite fond of them, and I like how once you get to know how they pair together, it's quite easy to create systems that may have been a bit more difficult before. They may have required weird placement of redstone and comparators and stuff. No longer. So, without further ado, these are the three types of command block we now have. We have the impulse command block, which is pretty much identical to the old standard command block. We then have the chain command block. This one is basically chains items together, so instead of having like a line of these command blocks with redstone running across all of them, you just line these up top to tail and they will execute in a line. And then we have the repeat command block, which is going to replace the fill clock, or any other high-speed clocks that you may have wanted to use, which will continuously output commands and will also execute the chain command. So, we're going to go into a bit more detail about how each of these work and each of their individual settings in these buttons here. Okay, so first of all, how do they actually execute? Now, I've got just a command here that just says say check in each of these three commands, and they all behave differently when redstone is activated. These ones all needs redstone, and they're all unconditional, so we can ignore those buttons for the moment. By default, by the way, this will say unconditional, this will say needs redstone. We'll get into those in a moment. So, the impulse command does exactly what the old one did when you powered it. Executes the command once. Even if you pull a lever, it will execute it once. The chain command block. Now, this one's a bit interesting. This one will not actually take a redstone pulse. If I do it, I'll just go T just to reset that. Nothing happens. Trying to power this with a redstone source? Nothing. The chain command cannot be powered by redstone. Then we have the repeat command. This one can be powered by redstone. The repeat command block will execute the command as long as it is active. So if it's powered by redstone, it will execute its command every tick as long as there is a redstone pulse. So if I flip this lever and then quickly flip it back, it's executed once per tick, 6 times. And if I just T to reset, hit the button, whoop, and you can see that it's executed about 20 times. So that is the repeat command. Moving swiftly on, so we've got a couple of ways that you can pair up, for example, the impulse and the chain. Now, the impulse, if you don't like have a line of redstone across, this is the way that we used to have to execute large areas of command just once. If I press this button, these are labeled, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 5. But if I press this button, only the first two will be activated because those are the only ones that are exposed to a redstone current. The button powers this one, and then there's the residual redstone power, which will then power the second one, but all the other ones are not being powered. However, this system is exactly the same, numbered 1 all the way up to 5. There we go, but they're chain command blocks. And if I hit this button, it will execute them all from this first impulse all the way to the last chain command block in order. And that is how the chain command works. It won't carry a redstone signal, but it will carry this new command block signal, which isn't really a thing, it's just how I'm describing it. Basically, if the command before it has executed, it will carry the command line through there, and that's really handy. Next up, we are going to look at the conditional statements. So you can see most of these say unconditional. I've changed this one here to say conditional. Now, normally, this thing here, this command block here, is testing for a pig, okay? And this is then on a conditional to say found pig. Now what do you think is going to happen here? This is our new comparator, basically. The old redstone comparator we have where we can check the output of a block to be true or false. We don't need that anymore for these sort of systems. The conditional will only output true. This chain command block will only output its command if the one before it has executed a true statement. So it's testing for a pig. At the moment, it's not going to find a pig. So if I click this button, nothing happens, because there are no pigs in the world. However, if we put a pig in the world, this is now going to output true and execute this second command. Bing! Found pig. So let's just go and kill him. Out of the way. Now we also can chain these together. So you'll see by the way, when you change these to conditional and unconditional, they actually change the block type. So it's just a square blocky arrow, as opposed to a sleek arrow with an inward bit. That's a conditional block. This is an unconditional one. But these ones can actually chain together. The chain command block will power all the command blocks in the line, whether they're conditional or not, but it'll only actually execute the conditional ones if the one before them worked. So for example, I've got test for sheep and say found sheep, and then this one is test for chicken and say found chicken, and that one's conditional as well, and this one just says hello at the end of it. Now at the moment, if I power this, it'll execute all the commands, but the conditional ones won't execute because there are no sheep or chickens in the world. However, that last one that says hello will execute. Now, if I put, say, a sheep, it says found sheep and hello. I can go F3D to reset that. If I say kill this sheep and put a chicken down, it'll say found chicken and then hello. And if I kill that chicken and then put, say, a chicken and a sheep, it'll do both. So you can chain the conditional and unconditional statements. And you can actually chain conditional things. So if you wanted multiple things to happen, for example, if I wanted to only search for a chicken if I'd found a sheep, I'll make this one conditional as well, and this one will only activate if it finds the sheep. So if I make this conditional and place a chicken down, it just says hello. But if I place a sheep down, it'll find both of them. So you can stack the conditional statements as well as the unconditional ones. Next up, you can bend these around each other. There is nothing saying you have to put these all in a straight line. The chain command blocks especially. The only thing to remember is that the small, circle here is the output. Normal command blocks will take an input from any other side. So this one here just says, say 1, say 2, say 3, and if I power it, it'll execute those in a line, because it goes to this one, and then that one, and then this one will output to there. There is an exception to this rule. You can chain these as much as you want, but there is an exception, and that's conditional ones. This conditional block, which is going to try and only execute if the block here has executed true. There is no block here. Conditional command blocks will not take a pulse from the side. So if I power this one, this is saying test for type equals pig and found pig. No pig, but if I put a pig, it still doesn't work. And that's because this conditional block is sideways. So, what sort of things can you do with this? Well, for instance, you can also combine the repeat and chain blocks, and these ones go hand in hand, by the way. So I've got test for player within a range of 1, and this is set to always active, and that means that this command block is always going to be active, no matter what I do. And this one here says found player and it's conditional, so that means if I get within 1 block of this repeat block, it's just going to continuously say found player. There you go. And you can actually change this, so if I made it really redstone, it will no longer work until I hit a button here, and then bing, found player. Oops. But you get the idea. Next up, this is also testing for a player within a range of 1, but this is on an impulse, and I don't know why this is, but the impulse blocks cannot really be conditional. For instance, this here is always active, and should constantly be testing for a player, but if I walk up to it, nothing happens. And that's because this impulse block doesn't really work with conditional statements. The impulse block will only activate if it has a redstone signal. That's the difference. The impulse block will not take a command block signal, but it will take a redstone signal, and the chain one will take a command block signal but won't take a redstone signal. So there's the difference there, and how you need to use them. And we can do some more advanced things with combinations of these. For example, I've got testing for a pig. This one needs redstone just so I can set it up, and then it'll just execute a flame particle effect if it finds a pig. So if I put a pig, normally nothing happens, but if I turn this on, it'll do that. Now, of course, I could just have this here on a standalone thing, but you can chain things together like this, so that this will only happen if it finds a pig. And you can see that the pig is running around with a flame particle on its back, which actually looks kind of cool. It's like a fiery mohawk. Yeah. Alright, let's get rid of this pig. Wow, that was a hell of an attack. And there are other uses for this. For example, you can take something like a repeat and then a conditional, and then more chain command blocks out the side here, and you can do like a custom crafting system for a set block, or an execute again for like testing for individual mobs, and then executing different things depending on which mobs it finds. And the possibilities are endless, and I absolutely love these new command blocks. They are so sleek, and it almost eliminates the need for redstone in like for fill clocks. Fill clocks are now obsolete. These are the real deal. The repeat command blocks and the chain command blocks. And of course, if you still just want to be doing like a single command, like you just want to say, I just want to summon a pig up here, then you can just go back to the impulse command block and summon a pig. The impulse command block will take an input from all sides, and it executes just like an old command block. And of course, if I set this to be, you can also set these to be always active, but they will still only activate once. If I set the impulse to be always active, bing, it'll summon it once, and then it won't do it again. Come on, pig. Oh, fine. Run away and join your friend over there. Oh god, it's being overrun by animals. But yeah, that is pretty much all there is to say on the basics of the new command blocks. Wow, I say basics. There is quite a lot. But there we go. So we have the 3 different types of command blocks. They each take redstone signals and command block signals, and you behave with them in different ways. We can set them to be conditional or unconditional, so that we can have them only execute if a previous command block has executed true. And we can also set them to need redstone or not, so that we can make this always active, or we can make it only activate if we have a redstone pulse traveling into it. And yeah, that is pretty much all there is to it. I hope that you guys will take some of this in. I don't know how much single command creations I'll be doing from here on. I would like to do some more, but I'm a bit out of practice, so I'm gonna have to get my game on, as it were. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you have all learned something from this video, most importantly. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Hey guys, Axel here with a quick shout out to the creator of some absolutely awe-inspiring music, one Grace Wood. As her older cousin, I am incredibly proud of her for winning the Lion Foundation Songwriting Competition for 2015, as organised by the Play It Strange Trust. Her new song, Young, Naive and Reckless, is a fantastic example of her incredible talent, and I strongly suggest you head over to her newly founded YouTube channel, or her SoundCloud, and show Grace and her music some love. Trust me, you will not be disappointed.
Point us a pathway, lead us off in the distance.